How many of you think that in order to do machine learning, you need to know coding? Okay. What if I tell you that you can train machine models without writing a single line of code? Would you believe me? Okay, even if you don't believe me, our next speaker will show you a live demonstration of how that's done using Vertex AI. So Vaibhav, I'm calling you up on the stage for the next presentation.
Am I audible? Okay. So this is the last session for today. How are you feeling? Good? Bored? Want to go home? No? Okay. So I'll just try to keep it as short as possible. And yeah, so my name is Vaibhav. I am an organizer at GDG Cloud Mumbai. And I have been doing this since last 4 years now. And today I'll talk about Vertex AI, and let's get started with this. Yeah, so we are going to speak about machine learning. So what is machine learning, right? It's an application of artificial intelligence that are built using algorithms and data. And eventually, it automatically analyzes and makes decisions for us. Right, these are all terms we use while defining machine learning. It's eventually something which a human would do, machine would do it for us. Right? Yeah. So there are majorly 3 types of machine learning. I'll go through this very quickly. I know everyone knows this, and everyone is waiting for Vertex AI, but this is just to give some background around it. So basically, three major types: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement. Supervised is when you are giving the data, a labeled data, and out of which it is creating a model. In unsupervised, you are giving the data, but it's not a labeled data, and which is why it is called unsupervised. And then there is reinforcement learning, wherein it learns from its mistakes, like how a child learns to walk, right? It tries to walk, it falls, it learns, okay, if I fall, I'll get hurt, and that's how it keeps on learning. So our focus in today's this talk would be around supervised learning. So in majorly supervised learning, there are 2 types, which is one is classification and one is regression. In classification, you are trying to classify 2 things. Let's say I've given you a bunch of balls, and you want to say, is it a red ball or a blue ball? You want to say, is it a hot dog or not a hot dog? These kinds of problems would come into classification. And then there is regression, wherein you are trying to find an absolute number. Like, what would be the price of this particular stock in, let's say, 1 year? What would be the price of the house in, let's say, 1 month or something like that, right? So that's where regression is. So we'll talk about the problems that we have with our traditional way of building machine learning models. The first one is you need good configuration hardware. Anyone who's built machine learning models would know that you need GPUs to build a good model. If it's doing something really good, you need GPUs. There was a project I was working on, and in that, I was building the models using CPU. It was taking me 3 hours to build the model. The same model, when I then added a GPU to it, I was able to do it in 10 minutes. So that's how much a hardware plays a role in the models that you build. Once you have built the model, you need to deploy it in a scalable way, right? Because you are building the models so that they could be used. And you need to deploy, scale it, manage it. All that is something of a headache that you'll have to take, which currently a lot of companies are doing right now. So machine learning requires you to write code, and also not just any code. You need to be efficient, and you should have a good knowledge of what you're building, what you're writing, all that stuff. So these are all the issues, right? So how do you tackle all this? Vertex AI. How many of you know him? Okay, lot of TikTok followers. So yeah, I'll speak about Vertex AI. So what does Vertex AI helps you or enables you do it? It helps you to train models with minimal expertise of code. It's a unified UI for all the ML things that you would need. I'll show you the UI there, and then you'll understand so many things one service from GCP can do. Manage your models with confidence. That also something we'll show in the demo. But basically, it means is, let's say your model is not performing well. You can manage the confidence and then increase the performance, the accuracy of the model. And you have pre-trained APIs, which Achal just now covered, right? The vision, the natural language, and many more. There are around video and so many. So I'll go into what are the major 4 different types of Vertex AIs. So not different types of Vertex AI, but for 4 different data types, Vertex AI can build models. So one is image. By image, you can build classification model, object detection model. We have tabular data in which, again, you can do classification, regression, and forecasting models. We'll focus today on tables. This talk is specifically towards tables. There is text as well, in which you can do classification, entity extraction. So by entity extraction, you mean, let's say there is a sentence and you want to get the keyword. So let's say we are having Google Cloud Community Days at Grand Hyatt. So Cloud Community Days is an important event. Grand Hyatt is an important place. So we'll be able to extract those entities out of a sentence. And then we have sentiment analysis. Everyone knows about sentiment analysis. And we have video as well. So video classification, action recognition. So in this, you can understand, okay, if someone is playing basketball or baseball or whatever. So how does Vertex AI tables help? So as I mentioned, we'll be focusing on Vertex AI tables. If I have some time, I have built few demos around text and the image as well. And yeah, if I have some time, I'll show you that as well. So it helps you build highly quality machine learning models, and it also helps you deploy it. The best part is no code required, something which Vijay was talking about earlier. And no machine learning expert is required. So it does not mean you don't need any machine learning information. You need to know basics, but you don't need to know each and everything to build a good model. So what are the example problem statements that we could do while building models with Vertex AI tables? One is predicting housing prices, as I mentioned, predicting possibilities of diabetes. This is one of the most used data sets on Kaggle if you have visited it. There is one more which is highlighted, and that is something we are going to look at, which is mobile price range from its feature. And one of the most remarkable use case, there is this link. You can go and read about the articles. So the heading of the article is Fox Sports Australia predicts the fall of wicket in live cricket match using AutoML tables. Earlier, Vertex AI tables used to be called as AutoML tables. So you can read that. By the way, it is Fox_news. That underscore is not visible. You can go there, read it. So what they did is, in the live match, they were able to predict when the wicket was going to go. And they used to just, show this key, okay, in this over, a wicket is predicted to be, there will be a wicket this over. And it was happening that way, which increased their the viewership by 150% on that specific day. And yeah, you can read about it. So what is the problem statement for the demo today? This is the training data I have. If someone wants to try it out later on, you can just use that training data. So it is train_data. So what we are trying to solve today is, let's say we have a data wherein we have all the configurations of a mobile. What is the RAM, what is the battery, screen height, and all of this stuff, we have it in a data. And now we have to classify it into 4 different parts, which is 0, 1, 2, 3. For 0 being the cheapest phone, and the 3 being a very costly phone. Mind you, this data is around 4 years old. So all the data that we see around in this is not the high configurations that we have now. Okay, so it's demo time. Yeah, so this is the screen of Vertex AI. I'll go to the dashboard first to start off everything. Yeah, so here you're able to see, the recent data sets, models, batch predictions, all of this. So we'll first start with data set. And just so, it takes a lot of time to build this data set, to run the models. I have pre-built the data set and pre-built the models. So I'll be just showing you how to do it, but won't be actually doing it. So let's say you do create, you give some name here. Let's say, yeah, CCD Mumbai. In this, we have different types, like I mentioned, image, tabular, text, video. So let's focus on tabular data, and you just click on create. So I've already created, so I'll not create it again, which is this mobile dataset test. So here, yeah, okay, it is not showing that way. So let's say I would have not kept my data already, it would show me, import the data, something like that, and I just have to give this URL of my Google Cloud Storage, and this train.csv has the files which I used to train the model. And let's say you have put that, you come to analyze, and there you'll be able to analyze how your data set is. So you get all this data. These are all the fields that are there. So battery power, blue is for Bluetooth, clock speed, dual SIM. All these features are there in those data set that you'll be able to see in this data set. So let's say you have this data set here, right? All you have to do is just click on this train new model. So it will understand the data. It will ask you, which all fields do you want to, create the model on. So we are trying to create a classification model because we want to classify it into 0, 1, 2, 3, being the cheapest or the most costliest phone. So you click on classification, you put some description if you want to. Target column is which says what is the target column. So price range is our target column. There is a column called price range. And in our label data, we have all this data labeled in a way that, okay, with high configuration, it is labeled to 3. With low configuration, it is labeled to 0 and 1 or 2, like that. So this is our target column, which signifies, okay, we have to build a model to predict price range. And I can do continue if I want to create anything. So here it gives price range as a target. And if I want to add anything, I can do create general statistics. Anything that I want to do, you can try it out here. And then eventually you can say for how many hours you want to the model to run. If you see, we have something called enable early stopping, which basically means if the model is not learning more and more, it will just stop after a given point of time. And you can keep, let's say, let the model be running for like 2 hours, 3 hours, but it learns everything in 1 hour, let's say. So it will just stop building the model and save you money. So once we have done all this, your model will be created. So, and it will be shown in this way here. Yeah. So once you have the model, you will see something like insights about the model. So first thing you see is the confusion matrix, in which you are able to see how many of the times was my model correct and not correct. So if you see in case of 0, it was able to predict 100% of the time. In case of 3, it was also able to predict 100% of the time. But in case of 1 and 2, it was failing here and there, right? So it's not a very, very good model. And then you come to feature importance, which says what are the features that are actually responsible for my target. So in our case, the target is price range. So it says कि RAM is the feature which was the most responsible for my target. Basically, RAM अगर ज़्यादा है तो price ज़्यादा है. उसके बाद it comes to battery power. कि battery power पे depend कितना करता है कि is it costlier or not. Isn't that true? Don't you think higher the RAM, higher the price it is? I have not told him anything, right? I have given him nothing. It was able to understand everything just by clicking that one train new model button. So that's something great. More of the important features are height and width. So the screen size, if it is bigger, it is more important, or more important in terms of price ranges, right? Is everyone sleeping? I can hear no one. Okay, I know you want to go. Yeah. Then you can go to deploy and test. So here if you just click on deploy, like I mentioned earlier, right? Building model is not just the end of the things, right? You also need to deploy it in a scalable way. So this Vertex AI also helps you deploy. All you have to do is click on deploy to endpoint. That's it. It will take 5 or 7 minutes. It will deploy it. It's highly scalable. You can post 1,000 messages at a second, and it will be easily able to handle it. So now there are two ways to try it out. One is you can just try it out using this UI that they have given to put all these values. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use Postman. So I have created one of the tests, if you say, battery power, Bluetooth, all. I have given all these values. This is the API. If you come here, it says, show me the sample request. So I can just copy this sample request, paste it in my Postman, and then it will turn up. So I have this, and I'll just try to send it, and I'll show you how the response looks like. So, you able to see? Yeah. So you see it says course, and focus on this part. It says E minus 0.5. It basically means E raised to minus 0.5. So which means it's a very, very small number. So this is corresponding to this. So a very small number corresponding to 0 means it does not belong to that. If you see 0.999 belonging to 1, so our model is predicting that it should be around the price range 1. And similarly for this, it's a very small number. If you see 000, for it's even a very small number. So it's predicting that it's model 1. So this is how you predict in terms of tables. Does anyone have any questions around this? Okay. And there is one more thing called batch prediction, wherein let's say you have a CSV file and you just want to predict all of these things. Let's say you have 100 rows that you want to predict. So you can just keep all of those into a CSV file. It will predict all of those 100 rows in a single go by batch prediction. So this is about tables. I still have 3 minutes. So I think I can show you this as well. So this was not supposed to be the part of the demo, but I have some time, so I'll show it. So this is one more model I had created using for text classification, wherein I just gave all this data, wherein, and it has around 10,000 rows of data, and it's all labeled data. So just let's try out how it is working. And mind you, again, not a single line of code was written. I just found the data, I just uploaded the data, and it was already a labeled data, so I had to do nothing around that as well. Okay, I have not deployed this endpoint. Maybe I'll just deploy this endpoint by this. Yeah, I'll show you the other one. I have one more very good data set, which is a dog or a cat. I'm sure we as humans are able to understand if it is a dog or a cat, but I have just uploaded 10 images of a dog, 10 images of a cat, and it has created a model with this. So it's deployed to this endpoint. Let's say I upload the image, and it is able to predict it's a dog or a cat. So yeah, so it says it's 0.85% sure that this is a dog. And if you want to see, I can do it for the cat as well. Yeah, so it's 100% sure that it's a cat. But I'll like to show you my data set. And again, you have just created an image classification model with 0 line of code. So here you are looking at dog and a cat. Let's say you put my photo, some like 5 people's photo, 5 celebrity photos, it's same for it. It will be able to do the face detection as well. That, okay, you have to just label it that I have 10 photos of Vaibhav, 10 photos of, let's say, Roman, and then it will be able to differentiate between us. Yeah, so this is all the photos that I have used. That's it. Isn't this fascinating? Yeah, that's it. Do any one of you have any questions? I wish I would have deployed this. I think I forgot to deploy this one. Yeah, till this it is deploying. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah. Sorry, I'm not able to hear.
You use 10 images to train this model.
Yeah.
So I understand that ML requires a large amount of data to train.
Yeah.
So what is the minimum amount of images to train? Is it 10 or it
10.
can be minimum?
10 is the minimum.
Okay.
The reason it worked so well with dogs and cats is because they have pre-trained data of dogs and cats.
Okay, okay.
And that's why it's able to understand, okay, these are the features of a dog and these are the features of a cat.
Got it.
And it also understands, okay, these are any new types of, let's say there is a new type of dog that you have created, let's assume.
Yeah.
And that also you want to train on top of what AutoML is already known, then this will be helpful. Let's say for a human, right, they know what is a human and how a human look like. But Vaibhav as a human is a different thing, right? So you are just going to train, okay, this, if the face looks like this, it's going to be Vaibhav, something like that.
Okay.
So it's trained over already trained models. And that's why you can work with like 10 images as well. And 10 is the minimum, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Yeah, hi, I'm Vedant. I have a question that this is using a pre-trained model, as you said, right? So, for example, I'm a TensorFlow developer. I've made my own model on my local machine, like using some custom model that I've built for my purpose. Can that be deployed over here in Vertex AI as well?
Yes, yes, definitely. So there is a way that you could take in your own models as well. So if you see custom jobs, and you can create your custom model as well here. Oh, okay, I just went back. So if you see custom training, and then it will ask you for your models to be uploaded, the hyperparameters, all of that. So you can create your custom model and upload it here as well. Does that answer your question? Yeah, okay. Any other questions? No? Okay. Okay. If you have any other questions, I am around here. Thank you for the session and thank you for coming out on Sunday. Thank you.